protecting yourself when doing that Roshan. They wanted to make sure that if they were coming, they were going to know it, that it was not going to be stifled, or that they were going to have an answer for it, that they weren't going to be caught off blindsided, showing me right now how much they feel that the end of the game is near, that all they needed was that Roshan, and they will be able to run in and have that anti-mage blink in, more than likely be able to take somebody down, like the Crystal Maiden and or Ogre Magi, before this team fight even starts. However, when you have a level 9 support, has more health than your level 13, almost 14 Bloodseeker, you see why Bloodseeker really isn't picked that up, and that stack gain is just not good, as we see a ultimate being dropped on this anti-mage, as he will continue to run and get himself killed, pretty much. I guess, I guess. You see the pipe being popped by this Beastmaster. It's really just going to nullify another pipe pop from the Night Stalker, and a silence going off on this, as they will go over the ultimate went away from this Beastmaster on this Weaver, as Billy Valor jumps in and knocks him down extremely quickly. Viper gets the last hit on the Bloodseeker. Viper trying to take down this Crystal Maiden and will not be able to do it, as well as the Ogre Magi being able to get away. And that's when you know you're in trouble, when they decide, we don't need to target your supports. Your supports are, pretty much more tanky than you are. Aka coming out with the GG calls. He recognizes a lost game when he sees one. However, it seems like they will continue to fight, as Longitude says, "Ghost you gamers," like the game isn't over yet. However, I'm not sure what he's thinking, as this game is definitely over. They are 2 stacked, as this Viper now, he had his Vanguard going into that fight. 1700 health. Crystal Maiden running out trying to do something, however gets dropped immediately. The Butterfly being finished, more right clicks, ultimate being dropped on this Ogre Magi. It appears that they are going to be able to, and look at all the misses coming out from the anti-mage because of that silence coming from this Night Stalker. Ultimate going off on this Bloodseeker, and just no tank. You're not tank at all. I don't know what you're doing. The whole thing about Radiance is that its residual damage is really where it's at. It's really its bread and butter. And if you're not able to stay in team fights and utilize that residual damage, there's really no point in you getting it. The whole point is that the Weaver has so much survivability. 2 lives with time lapse, as well as being able to Sakuchi in and out. Just makes the Radiance so much more efficient. And him not even being able to pick up the Lincoln Sphere due to its really high cost. In my opinion, it should be A, get better stats, and or B, cost less. They should maybe knock down the recipe to 300, 400 the most. I don't even think there should be a recipe for it. Then it might be considered a little overpowered at that point, but I really don't see how it is so useful now, and I really don't agree with teams picking it up, especially on a Weaver. As the Viper is just cleaning up, and that will be pretty much the end of the game, as they have taken mid and bottom racks, and the Blink Tagger on this Lich, just for lulz, as we see the Night Stalker leaving the game, and that will be the end of the game. Pretty much a stomp when it got to the middle end portion of the game. If we look here at the item choices and the hero choices, in my opinion, is really what led to the downfall. This Bloodseeker was a bad pick, and then an even more of a bad pick to have him be your main farmer and Radiance carrier, as he's only sitting around 900 health, really nothing he can do. The second he goes into battle, he gets focused and killed immediately. The Viper, the Anti-Mage, they all do a good amount of DPS. This Lich and Tide Ultimate together do a lot of DPS. If need be, drop a stun, drop a roar on him, some axes. Really nothing they could do. I really like the Viper pick. 100% that it was a reactionary pick. He does so well against melee carries due to that corrosive skin, as well as, like I was saying earlier, not needing too much farm in the DPS area early to mid game because of his Nether Toxin and whatever that goo skill is, the booger launcher. then you let this anti-mage just get as farmed as he did, 197 creep kills. Now, if you add up, that I'm looking at it here, the Bloodseeker, the Weaver, even though the Ogre and Crystal Maiden aren't farmers and aren't supposed to be farming, you could put theirs in too, and you still really don't get as much farm as this anti-mage got, which is the exact last thing you want to happen. He's just, you can't let that, you can't let any hero in any game get that much more farmed than 4 heroes on your team. It's going to lead to a loss 9 times out of 10 unless, you know, that hero was a Crystal Maiden, which will never happen. The day that we do see a DPS Crystal Maiden, though, I will have a nerdgasm all over the place, as that is one of my fantasies, to see a DPS Maiden rule the day. The team fight abilities coming from the Sentinel are also what led to the downfall of this Scourge team, as they had a lot of individual attacking skills that they needed to drop on one hero to get them down. Bloodseeker's ultimate, the stun coming from the Ogre Magi, Frostbite, the nuke coming from Night Stalker. Really not skills that are going to help you bring down a team. And once you use all those skills on whatever hero you do bring them down, you still have 4 other heroes to deal with and no DPS to deal with it. Really wasn't too much they could do. I really believe that they just need to go back to the drawing board. It seems to me like this was somewhat of a pocket strat that they somewhat wanted to try. It didn't work out at all. And I believe that will be the end of the game from me. So everybody take it easy and have a good night, and I will see you next time. This was FY versus Bands.